Hello. Morning, everyone. Go back with a little music. Let's hop into a world and let's start working on more things. I was thinking last night, I need to nail down meditation insight. I gotta nail it down because I think I started to work on it and I built the system. And then I wanted to use it on like other blocks and like regular vanilla blocks, and that is that's not going to be the case. Can't do that. Oops. Also, I'm pretty sure the leyline resonator is only made through meditation insight, like the things unlock the recipe. So let me take a quick look at that recipe while I'm thinking about it. Because if that's the case, that's going to be a huge problem. All right, so tools. Tool resonator. Okay, you know what? So I turned it off. Interesting. So, have I meditated? Yeah. So this isn't going to be a good world to test this stuff out on. We're going to start a new world. Another new world. I'm just going to start deleting some of these because I'm getting a lot of worlds here. This one, I have no idea what it's for. All right. Recreate a world. I'll say this is RBM test number test 2. And it'll be a standard world. And I was really tired this morning. I actually slept in. I got a little bit of a cough, so I'm like, oh great, am I getting sick? A week before I go to Disneyland. GM2. All right, this looks like a good place. Here, you know what? I'm going to make a solid platform out of light mud brick. And we'll do a 14 by 14. Why not? Cuboid. Boop. There we go. Perfect. Hey, one of my elementals! Hi, buddy. I love seeing them just naturally putzing around. Okay. Let's pull out a couple items. Of course. So I did some more work last night. We got the unlocking magic. I think this one's pretty much done, right? This is about like what is magic, right? Kind of telling people some of the pros and cons, right, of like following magic or not following magic. I put crystallized memories back in the game. It kind of goes, right? This is just pretty much like unlocking magic. And then when you unlock magic, let's get some rusty dust. You know what? Let's not get rusty dust because I don't have to do that anymore. I created this item, which unlocks magic. Boom. So we got our next guide here, the basics of magic. So I talk about like mana, meditation, the new skill, give you a warning, and then I give you the 3 ways to which you could grow as a mage, right? Raising your maximum mana. And it's your magical experience, so like performing, you know, like casting spells, completing rituals, I think synthesis as well, creating grimoires. I should probably put that in there too. Then meditation insight, looking at researchable blocks while meditating, and then armor bonuses, right? So I'm thinking I have to change the name here, but we have to look into meditation insight and armor bonuses. That's going to be kind of the focus, unless I get derailed onto something else, but that's going to be the focus of the stream right up front here. And I'm finding that with each little section here, I'm actually able to put less to like get the points across, which is pretty awesome. I'm happy about that. Cool. All right, so let's go into... Let's bring this up. I have to get the localize. Here we go. Let's open up the guidebook again. So, performing magical feats. There we go. Performing magical feats like casting spells, completing rituals, and synthesizing grimoires. There we go. So we'll fireball that in. I'll just do a quick reload, just make sure it's good. So meditation insight. I have a couple ideas with it. The first idea would be hard to make, like resource-heavy blocks that you make. And then you can either they would all be like individual blocks, or they would be one block that you could empower to be like a certain... So the idea is I have 16 rune patterns. So I'm thinking about like what can I divide up, right? To make it to where you could look at these, you know, these ancient obelisks, meditate on them to gain maximum mana. And like what does that look like in a farmable, you know, kind of game like this? I don't want them to be part of World Gen. I've done so much work to like make sure that, you know, none of my stuff is tied to World Gen, because the idea is if someone wants to rip out my mod because they're like, you know what, Magic's not for me, but we already started this world. I didn't want to like, you know, destroy that world with my, you know, the remnants of my question mark blocks because my ore doesn't exist, or, you know, my obelisk in this case, right? The ancient obelisk doesn't exist or anything else. So I need to actually like talk this through. I'm seeing a lot of my elemental creatures. Interesting. It's like the fourth. There's one right there. So I have 4 elemental creatures around here right now. Oh, and it looks like it was another, and they're fighting. Oh, so that one killed that one. I should make it to where, like, if they kill one, see, like, they're fighting now. And that one's dead. So they just keep spawning. Let's lower the spawn rates of these guys. They're too prolific. Elementals. Let's go into the drones. We will come on down. I want them to spawn like, let's try like half as often. And maybe batches of 5 are a little too much. Maybe it should be like a batch of 3. Like, you shouldn't be seeing armies of these things swarming around. All right, so we'll try those new spawn rates. I'll do a quick reload. So yeah, Meditation Insight. What does that actually look like? Any of my blocks that I made, I can put Meditation Insight on because I am extending block anyways. So I can, you know, I can't do this through a block behavior, is I guess what I'm getting at. Which is unfortunate, because I would have really loved to have this be accessible through a block behavior. But, I don't think that's in the cards. Oh, okay, they're little things. Let's pull out some things. Let's figure this Meditation Insight thing out. So this is a quote-unquote researchable block. Let's pull up a calculator. I guess that's going to be the real thing. So if I have 16 rooms, what if I give 5 mana points for each room? I mean, that gives me only 80 maximum mana. And if I give 10, it would be 160 mana. Oh, 1 second. All right, I'm back. I gotta set an alarm for myself for tomorrow. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see, tomorrow at... Oh, what time? What time should I do? I'll do 8:20 in the morning. That should be after my morning meeting. Call mechanic about car. There we go. Boop. Save. 22 hours, 41 minutes. Oh man. You ever do something and you're like, ooh, I'm depressed. I have that long until the next day. All right, so how do I want to do this? What could Meditation Insight be? Let's try and sketch something out here, right? So I like the idea of an ancient obelisk. We'll just say that's an ancient obelisk. Now, I got a couple paths here, right? So I could either tie these to a specific element, or I could have 3 different types, right? A light, a neutral, and a dark type. You know, just kind of stick with that same theme. Now, I'm not sure if these are going to be, like, you know, craftable, or, you know, like how do you make something like this? It's difficult to say. It is really difficult to say. Something like this feels like it should be... I mean, I don't know, so many approaches. Should it be like a tapestry, right? Should you be able to, like, this right here is tied for a particular mana, you know, like mana type or whatever. And then, like, anyone who meditates on this, like, it's just infinitely usable. Or should it be like, you know, this type, you know, you put so much rusty dust in, and it's like a roulette wheel, and then it just kind of randomly churns, you know, after so much time, probably a long time, and then it will tune itself to a particular rune, and then once you meditate on it, it resets that rune, right? And then what happens? But then you run into the problem where, it takes like 1 full day for this thing to charge up, and it takes, you know, like 4 Arcanus per charge. And then what if you get like, what if you have like 50% of the meditation insight stuff? Like, you got 50% of it, and then you get like a rune that you already have. You know, like, it's like you get nothing from it. So maybe that's not that, but then again, you could stack multiple ones together. Because it is that kind of game, right? If it's craftable, then you could make a whole row of these things. And just, you know, churn them out. And then just meditate on the ones that you... That's kind of cheap, huh? But I think that's the rub, right? It's like, either I mess with World Gen and put these things in World Gen, or I make like an NPC, like a shop, that could sell one of these for like a one-time use, and then it dissolves for gears. But then it's just like, what if you get unlucky and you don't find a trader? Then you may not get these, right? If you don't find the right magical trainer or trader. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I shouldn't have like all of these here. It should be only one type. I'm thinking one type. Ah, man, how... I mean, should these be chargeable? This is the thing. Like, I need to figure this out. I really gotta nail this thing down. It could take a lot of essence. Like, it could be another use for essence. It's just like, what do you do if it comes up as like, oh yeah, I already discovered that one, kind of thing, you know? It's like, what kind of compensation can I give people, you know? I don't know. And then RNG like that, like true RNG. I mean, no one's gonna be maxing out meditation insight. All right, let's look at blocks that I could potentially meditate on. Let's just make a list, right? So all the rune stones. Okay, why not put meditation insight on them? They're kind of big deals. I think I'm gonna need more space. I think I'm gonna need more space here. Let's increase this platform. There we go. Increased, right? Oops, there we go. All right, so we got this guy. There we go. I'll start putting him here. So we have this, that block, that block, that block. I could make it to where there's a shared thing with these, right? So it could be this or this or this or that. So like just meditating on one of these will satisfy. See, I don't want every block to be something where you could gain meditation insight from. Maybe Moonstone and Bloodstone too. Eldrathium. Why not? I'll put Eldrathium there too. Maybe Riftbloom? Like full mature Riftbloom. Could do that. And let's see what else. You know what? A Celestial Prism and a Devouring Void. There we go. I'll put those two there. See, like, a lot of this other stuff, like the Sanctum, the Spellforge, I don't think, you know, the Thaumic Workbench, I don't think you'll get anything from meditating on these blocks. These are essence generators, so I could see why you would meditate on these. But these, I don't know, they're just like magic stations. See, the utility blocks are special because they're... I want to point out that the fact that they are indeed special. Like mana torches and like light, no. And then that's it. Because meditation insight, I can only pin it on any blocks. And those are all the blocks. Everything else here, all these other things are items. So this is kind of what I'm looking at. Let me doctor this up. Let's kind of get the darker color. I'm gonna put that under here. Oops. World edit tool, paintbrush. Let's bring this down to like 4. Of course I did it the wrong way. 14. Let's bring this down to 4. There we go. There. Whoops. Whoops. Didn't go deep enough there. There we go. Gotta make a nice long strip. There. So this is what we're looking at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. My OCD's like 11. 11. Unless I break these out. I could break these out. It'd be 11, 12, 13, 14. One more would be nice. One more would be nice, right? 14's not, let's see, 14 times, what am I doing? If these are 5 mana points each, that would be 70. But this isn't. I don't think this should give 5 mana max mana each. Not for these, because right there, if you have a setup, you're pretty much able to just get like 70 max mana right off the bat. I just unlocked magic. And I can go into my friend's house and meditate on each block, right? You literally have them in a row and then, like, sit down and ding, 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 ding. So 5 is out of the question. What about 3? So if I did 3, the even number I would probably shoot for. Oh, you know what? You know what I could do? Let's rearrange these. Yeah, let's rearrange these in like how you unlock them, right? In which way you unlock them. First thing is going to be Riftbloom. Because I think this would be better. So I could start with like the things you get easier. Maybe you don't get as big of a mana boost, right? Maybe it could be like, oh, 2 mana, right? Maybe another 2 or 3 mana. And then the harder things like Bloodstone, maybe that could be 5, 10 mana max mana that you get. So it kind of scales up. So you would unlock this, right? And then the next things would be these 2. Or actually, it would be the Oculus. Or not, well, Oculus, the Obelisk, Celestial Prism, and Devouring Void. So these are things that you would discover quickly. Let's kind of remove them from here. Man, it's getting dark already. Here we go. So I put that down. And then you have this block. Oops. Right there. And then from there, you would actually be able to unlock these as well. So you get a lot, like, right up front. Botanical Matrix. There we go. So that gets rid of all of these blocks. And then you would jump up to the next tier. And then I think I don't have any other blocks here. You would jump up just to, like, the final tier. Right? Yeah, I think so. 2. Whoops. So, like, Bloodstone would go there. Moonstone would go there. And then Eldrathnium goes there. Alright, so this is kind of the progress. I mean, I could, you know what? We could tag crystals in here too. And I won't do it like individual elemental crystals, although I could give only 1 mana point for each. So it could be like 1 mana point for each. So if you can get a hold of all 8 crystals, that would give you 8 max mana. And then maybe for this, I can do 2 and then 3 each, right? Or I can have it global and be like, you know what? If you can meditate on any of the small fire crystals or whatever, you would get 5 mana as a one-time thing. Kinda like the other way. Which means I'm gonna have to rearrange these again. Damn it! Because you could find these, like, here. So I'm gonna extend this out. We'll put each one here. Extend it out this way. Which means right around here, you would find... You would find this crystal, then here would be the maximum. Get rid of all this stuff. Kind of like the idea of having to, like, meditate on each one of these elements. So each one may... I think I'll just give you 1 mana point per each. So it kind of... As you learn, right? As you, like, you'll meditate on this, maybe this will give you, like, 2. Or maybe this will give you 1, right? This can give you 1. And then a combination of these, so that would be 8, 9. And then maybe this could give you 1 as well. So, primitive, like, just from exploring, you could get 10 maximum mana right off the bat. Or I could do 8, 9, 10. I could give this 2, and then maybe give this 5. That way, like, primitive, you got 15 mana. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 14. Yeah, if I give these 2 each, I think that's too much, because that would be 16 max mana. You're pretty much like you're too good in the beginning. All right, I'm gonna start putting down some signs here because I gotta start. You know what I need to do? This needs to be in my, like, true creative world. We're gonna take a screenshot. I gotta put this with the rest of my mod stuff. All right, save and quit. And I also have to think about giving you more blocks later in the mod. Like, I feel like there's a good amount in the beginning, and then it just, like, drops off. But for good reason, right? Because I am focusing on, like, early game first to make sure you get mana in your hand, right? You can cast spells faster. And then to, like, progress you. Mmm. Delicious. All right, where am I going to put this section here? I could pop it over here. Right, because that's all of my... This is hilarious, right? This is what the mod rewrite started as. Just this simple row. Couple ideas off to the side, right? Like, this is kind of like what's going to happen. And then it turns into this. All of that. This. All of this. This is why I haven't destroyed this part, because it's like, well, this grew into this for ideas. I'm gonna put it over here. Let's grab this. I'm gonna need rows. All right, paintbrush. Instead of 15, let's do 3. Did I do it the right way? Yep, I did. Good. Whoops. I'll replace air, fill. There we go. We'll kind of keep going down. I think that's a long enough strip. And I will actually start in reverse, so let me get my screenshot here. What do we got? You know what? I'm gonna read it this way. I'm not gonna do it in reverse. All right, let's get rid of some of this stuff. Like, I don't need a lot of this stuff here. Here we go. Pull out my blocks. Let's grab some Rift Bloom. Oh, you know what? I got Unstable Rift Bloom too. Although, you know, it's going to be the same. It's just going to be Rift Bloom. I don't want it to be tedious. Where's my obelisk? Oh, there it is. Grab that and that. All right, let's start putting things down. Let's disable fill. Put that in, right? So you got your Rift Bloom there. You're gonna have your crystals. The next thing is going to be your obelisk. And then you would have these two. Now, I could also add having to meditate on each one of the block types. Right, so if it's any enchanted stone, any astrolith, anything like that. So that would go like before the obelisk, and then it'd go obelisk, and then celestial prism. There we go. So it could be like this. Let's get all of the elemental types. Kind of string it all together. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. Should have done this. Wind, earth, lightning, frost, nature, arcane. Here we go. That also means I should probably do the same thing with these blocks. All right, let's grab them all. So we got that, and that. Right, so you'll have all of those types. There we go. All right, so now you would have your obelisk. You would have these two things. Grab this. Maybe each one of these. And then at that point, I think that's everything in tier 1. Let me get the divider block that I've been using. There we go. Now I have to divide up how much mana you should unlock in, like, the very beginning. So what does this look like? Let's get some signs. And I'll just start putting signs here. Make it a little closer. There we go. We'll get some charcoal. All right, right off the bat, the beginning stuff, like this will be 1 MP each, right? One-time use, 1 MP, that would give you 8. This probably should be 1 MP as well. I mean, Rift Blooms, like, being that, like, it's like the introduction, right, to Meditation Insight. 1 max mana. This, honestly, should probably be a 1 MP too. So at this point, just for, like, unlocking magic, right, and planting your seed, letting it mature, hunting the elementals, right, and getting at least one of each element, and creating... see, it won't be each for these. I'll have all of these be, like, 1, right? Like, you've meditated on Enchanted Stone. So that should be 10. Because again, right, I could see you wanting to examine each element, but this is all just different shapes of Enchanted Stone. Doesn't need to be tedious. You don't need to, like, make each block and then just sit and, like, look at it. Your obelisk. So if you're at 10 right now, how much should the obelisk give you? And then whatever that number is, the Celestial Prism and the Devouring Void, maybe all of these should be the same. 2, 4, 6... What if I give these 2 each? So that would be 2 MP. These should all be 1 MP, I'm thinking. Why did I set it up like this? Like with the crystals and everything I'm building down. This I just kind of built out. Let me move these. Make this a little easier on myself. 2. It's the I'm missing a block. I'm missing the elevator. Hey, Gravity Cat. Good morning. Hope your day is going well. 1 MP each. There we go. And I'll get rid of those signs, right? So we're at 4. So this is 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 2 MPs kind of... I don't know. Unless I change this to where, like, you don't have to examine each one. Maybe just it's like a one and done kind of thing, which means I could just say, like, maybe 2 MP. Just got to play with the numbers, right? Because ultimately, when you're in this whole first tier, I don't want you to have, like, a ridiculous mana pool, you know, just from researching, because it's got to be balanced with the armor that you're going to have at the end of this as well, your mage armor, and the fact that you've been casting spells and, like, using mana. Woke up way too early for having slept 3 hours. Bye-bye, stream! Oh, man. Yeah, I stayed up kind of late the past couple of nights. Last night I stayed up late to work on some of the guides. So I got 2 of the written guides done with like links and stuff. I brought back in like crystallized memories too, and a couple other things, but you know, getting like the pictures and setting things up, and it was time well spent. I also realized that I can't really multitask like I can when I'm programming. Because like when I'm actually writing, like I found that I was getting distracted by like my show on the other screen. So that was fun. 11, 12. I'll say 3 MP. Because this one's a little more advanced. 3 MP. So what are we looking at here? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, so we're at 20. Oh, if I do 1 MP... well, I'm going to add more of these. That's the problem. So let me think this through. 10, 11, 12, 15, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So up to this point, it's 18. I can make this 5 mana. Because this is kind of an important block. Oh, those look nice. Love the little border edges, actually. Looking at the book, too. Oh, wait, are you talking... Oh, yeah, for the... Yeah, and this isn't even the whole... did you see the whole achievement system I made? People have been, like, coming in and out, and... I just, you know, I don't know if I showed you all the stuff. I think 5 MP is too high for this. 3 should probably be the max. So let me bump these down to 2. I'm envisioning like 20 MP, you know, from like researching this stuff through Meditation Insight. 20 max mana for like tier 1. So this would be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I could have this at 2 MP. There we go. So 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. That would be the 20 right there. So this is the dividing line. We'll put one more sign here. And I'll just say tier 1 total 20 MP. Perfect. Yeah, very Thaumcrafty, yeah. That was the inspiration. But yeah, I got more guides to write, but when I was writing the guides, I realized I got to the point where I'm talking about Meditation Insight and like ways to like increase your max mana. And I realized I created the system, but I didn't propagate it through to anything. I did it on the obelisk as a test, but I don't have it in. And then I'm also thinking that, so here I'll throw this at you just to see what you think, because I need some feedback. I'm at a crossroads with Meditation Insight. So it's a system where as you sit and meditate, like you're gaining mana, and then you look at a block, over time, like if you keep staring at that block, it's researchable, you will receive something. In this case, you're going to get an increase to your maximum mana. It's just going to be another passive way, you know, of like using spells, equipping armor, exploring the world kind of thing. Again, Thaumcraft-like, right? Because that was the inspiration. I wanted to bring more Thaumcraft in. But I didn't want to have a device where you were like scanning things. So I'm like, you know what? While you're in that meditative state and looking cool anyways, why not have that be the catalyst to, you know, that way you have to like sit and like ponder upon something, right? But I have a bunch of mana that I want to give out. And the best way that I could think of to do that, not the best way, one of the ways would be to have a new block called an Ancient Obelisk. And it would have happened through World Gen. Now, this is the idea I don't want to do, but Ancient Obelisk randomly appears in the world through World Gen. You would meditate on it. It's kind of like the tapestries in the game right now, right? Like, you find a tapestry, if you look at it, you uncover whatever the lore is. Now, the problem is, I don't want to touch World Gen. I wanted this mod from the beginning. I designed it to where you could put it into any world, and you don't have to worry about all the land I already discovered, and I need to go further out to start getting the new ores, and, or you want to remove the mod in, like, an established modded world, and I don't want your world to be plagued with a bunch of white box, red question mark, where, like, my ores were, or the obelisk, or, you know what I mean? Like, where any of the World Gen stuff is. Yeah, instantly thought of the scanner lenses. That was the inspiration. But I need a way for you to meditate on something. You know what I mean? Like, you need to be able to, like, meditate on something. So I thought, well, I could have an ancient obelisk, right? We'll just kind of throw this here. So you'll have an ancient obelisk, and then you do something to make this obelisk attuned to, like, a certain... I got 16 runes, from, like, the magic chalk, like 16 runic patterns. Oh, it's beyond my comprehension because I don't have magic unlocked. Let me unlock magic fast. Hold on. Let me get my admin tool for it. I'm so happy I made this thing. Boom! Peer through the veil, baby. Right, but I got 16 chalk patterns, and I'm like, okay, maybe it can attune to one of these. And then, like, this is, like, the pattern of this rune, right? So this is that ancient obelisk, and then you can meditate on that, and you gain so much max mana. System like that's going to be inherently broken if I make it craftable, right? Because then you could just have, like, Minecraft furnace wall, put a bunch of the things in there, and then it could generate a random rune, right? And it's like gambling at that point, but you could constantly scale it up enough to where, like, it doesn't feel good. But I like the idea of, like, 16 runes being tied to this stuff. Right, so I don't know how to go about doing this, right? Like, I was thinking from, like, drifters and elementals, maybe there could be, like, fragments that fall, and then you could piece those together. But then again, you could easily make a farm, right? And, I'm trying to think of, like, a fair way that would promote exploration that doesn't just get completely broken, The obelisk would be cool. Hey, Juno. But World Gen stuff would feel bad. Yeah, right? Because, like, you got an established world, and then you put my magic mod on there. Well, you're clearly not going to find any ancient obelisks. And then I'm thinking, well, what about traders, right? Same issue, Like, and then what if you're unlucky and you don't run into, like, a magic trader, right? That could potentially sell an obelisk. And then at that point, for the ancient obelisk, they're going to take gears. And I have ways for you to break down temporal gears into rusty gears. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm already giving you a tool to create money. So at what point did I just add extra steps to the same cheeky thing, So that's my problem. I want to add an ancient obelisk. And that ancient obelisk it's got to be unique enough to where you can't farm it, right? It's got to have a certain tag. How do I solve a problem? Like, what's the best way to solve a problem like that? That's going to be fun, promotes exploration, something that when you're a young mage and you run into this, you're like, oh my god, this is cool. But then when you're, flying around with your literal fly spell, blasting things from the sky upon your mighty throne, right? You're deep into magic, super fast run speed, crazy mana pool. What else could this be, right? What could make this fun? Could you, like, do a ritual to tap into a rift, swipe something from the Rust dimension? Well, this is the thing, too, right? Like, the whole, like, if I have an ancient, if I go along the route of, like, the ancient obelisk, to create it, it would probably be a ritual, right? But then that's still the same kind of problem, right? You would create whatever your pattern would be, right? Like, whatever this ends up looking like. You know, I don't know. Like, you get it, right? Pattern. But then, in a game like this, you can still hoard a lot of materials, right? So it can't be Arcanus as the catalyst. You know, like it's... And then once you make this... And this is the other problem with having it be like a random roulette. What if it's tuned to a magic rune that I already have? The Ancient Obelisk is now a rune that I already have. Like, what compensation do you get from it? You know what I mean? Like, someone's got to meditate on that. But I don't want to make it to where the rune doesn't matter, and if you do it, you can meditate on it, because then you can just sit down with a stack of 64 items and then just be like, yep, I'm just going to do this ritual again, right? Then it becomes a grind, right? It's a slog at that point. All right, let me read some chat here. So let's say the Ancient Obelisk is a giant ritual. What is the issue you're worried about? Is it someone could make more than one of them? Well, the issue here, like, okay, so giant ritual, I gotta think of sizing. Like, this is kind of like the biggest size that I have for a ritual, because this is the other part of that. If I make it a ritual, people are gonna be bitching and complaining that, oh, well, why don't you make a stencil for it? Why don't you... You know what I mean? Because I get that now with the rituals. Like, is there a way you could just put it down and... You know what I mean? So it's like, pushing all of that aside, I don't want it to be farmable in that sense, right? So I want you to have to go out and do something, you know, like, it's a big ask. Because I'm trying to convey what I'm... Like, I have basic ideas, and a lot of the ideas I like parts of. But I don't want it to feel super grindy. I don't want this to become like creating Arcanus, right? I gotta get my max mana up, so I have to get, you know, I have a bunch of Rusty Dust, and I made a bunch of Arcanus, and now I could sit down with my obelisk that I mass-produce, and I put one in, and I draw out the runes, and I have 20 magic chalks, and, you know, like... I like the idea of having it be random. So, like, let's say you go through this ritual, and then you get an obelisk of this rune, and you have that rune already. What could I compensate, right? What can I do to make it worth your time and effort putting that stuff in? You could have the ritual around a rift consuming an obelisk. Have some drifters spawn to fight. Could change it to ancient. You want each one itself to have ponderability, not just you have studied the ancient obelisk and that's it. Yeah, like, I'm just trying to think of ways to, like, because World Gen is out. Love the idea of you going through and, like, you know, finding stuff in the world, but I can't do that. Now, once I make something like this, like these, like, let's say I do make, you know, 16, because I have 16 runes, so I make 16 different types of obelisks. There's nothing that says my mod can't have compatibility with, like, the ruins mod, right? To where you could find an ancient obelisk in a ruin when you have my mod installed, right? Like, that's... But I can't bank on that kind of stuff happening, right? So it's like a possibility, but I want it to be detached from my mod, you know? So you got all these different flavors. Like my initial thought for like a reagent, because like the other thing is I could have any patterns I want. I could place any blocks I want. I can go honestly as high as I want from this platform as well. I can make any design. I can make it as big as I want too. But I can only have one type of reagent at a time, the way the current system is. Right? So throwing an item out, one type. Now, what I thought was that type could be something rare, like a crystallized memory. Right? Because now you have to choose, do I use this item to gain magic experience? Or do I throw that in to create an ancient obelisk? And I do like the idea of maybe you have to do this ritual first, right? The ritual of the rust to create a portal, right? Let me get my admin tool. There we go. Rift spawner. So I very much like this idea, right? You do the ritual, it spawns this. You have to then act fast, right? To place this down, draw out whatever your pattern's going to be. Pop your crystallized memory, right? Cache transmutation. I would have to do a block check, but I could do that, no problem, right? The obelisk would have to check to see, like, hey, is there a valid rift nearby? And then it consumes all of this to create the ancient obelisk. But I just don't know what... It would also require you to look at rift weather, too. Right? Because you could, if you do this ritual and it's calm, that portal won't stay out long at all. You have, like, maybe 15 to maybe 20 seconds that portal's going to be alive for because it's calm. And the rift weather will kill your portal. Let's see, the grind is good with something useful. Like in previous version, I was grinding out magic levels with the growth spell, barely feeding my small group without farming. Yeah, but I became a bean wizard. It was a fun way to grind, but sitting down and just throwing away resources ends up with that grindy RuneScape loop a lot. Yeah, I gotta find the fun, or at least more fun, in a system like this, because I mean I have it built. Like I can assign this thing, right? Like in the mod itself, I want you to discover things. And the crappy part is I cannot touch any of the base game items, because this was my first thought. Clutter, right? Clutter, all this stuff that you could randomly find, you could meditate on. You know, and I was messing with some other things here, like, you know, can you do lava? Can you do water, right? But, you know, at least all this other stuff, you can't do it. I can't do it without doing the thing that I hate the most, which would be messing with the base game's blocks. I don't want to harmony patch anything. And I was thinking, well, what if I can access the being looked at method through a block behavior? It does not exist in the block behaviors. So I don't know, and it could be my limitation in knowledge of like how to program, but I don't know a way to tap into the game system without screwing with the game's systems, right? I'm not going to be the guy that changes out our communal kitchen sink and puts a dumpster in it. You know what I mean? That's asking for modding compatibility. Oh wait, you could do something that could spawn somewhat like rifts, so it's not a world gen thing, but it can spawn out of its own cracks in reality, opening up around these ancient obelisks, temporarily creating one. You know, that's actually, you reminded me of something. I do have another tool at my disposal. the whole... Okay, so I kind of... I think I get what you're saying. Something like a rift spawns, and then while that rift is alive, it will spawn like the ancient obelisk with it too. Ooh, Gravity Cat, you know? You may have nailed it there, because I have those systems already in. So when you convert a flower into a rift bloom, what I'm doing is I'm put it on the rift to look to see if there's a valid block around. And then I do the block swap with that block, and then that block is temporarily alive. And when that rift goes away, the block destroys itself and then converts back. It takes from the snapshot that it took. What if... Now this would require creating another rift. I don't know. Well, I missed what you said about the ley lines from the... Okay, so I think you nailed it. That was the whole first part. I think you nailed it. I have these tools at my disposal. Right now, I could tap into rift blooms, the unstable rift blooms, right? A rift spawns. It looks to see if there's a valid block, right? That's around. And it converts the flowers, right, into rift blooms. And then when that rift goes away, that block, that rift bloom, converts back into its snapshot, right? Back to a flower. So who's to say that I don't... What if I... See, so this is where I'm running into a pass now, right? Do I create another kind of rift that generates randomly in the world? Like, I wanted to create elemental rifts anyways, but is that something that's feasible in the alpha? Because now I'm pushing the alpha back, even further, right, to get this system up. Or for each rift that is spawned, do I have a low chance of, when that rift spawns, the block right underneath it, right, becomes an ancient obelisk, right? So you're looking at like something like maybe that, right? Or maybe let's do that. Or something like this. You know what I mean? Like, or does it spawn inside? See, it's calm right now. So see, and it's already shrinking back up. You know what I mean? It's like, how do I... But I can create the block. Maybe it could be like this, right? Like maybe in the center, it has a chance, a one-time chance when it opens up, to create this ancient obelisk cube that sits in there. And that cube could be tied to, again, many things. I could have like 32 different types of these ancient obelisks. And as you're running in the world, you may have one of these rifts that, spawns a big, and you're like, oh my god, this is cool. So you could choose to either meditate on it, if it's one that you haven't discovered and it's researchable, to like shatter it, or maybe you break it and maybe it is a way that you could find some of my resources. Maybe I could throw out some, some elemental fragments, maybe a chance for some Arcanus, maybe a Seer's compound, right? So you can either use it to research or you could use it as like a loot box. You may get lucky and you may be like a tier 1 mage and, maybe you find like a runic scroll in there, or you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, cool, that saved me a lot of back and forth. Maybe a rare spawn of getting a crystallized memories, right? A more rare chance of finding a crystallized memory from it. An ancient rift. A rift of epic proportions. And what I could do to point it out is what you see here, like the size of this rift is a size 3. That's the default rift. I could make it a size 5, right? Something, you know, or size 4 or 5. So it's going to look bigger than normal rifts. See, the problem is you can't meditate on a rift because it's not a physical block. So you don't know what you're looking at. It's just basically, it's not even an entity. Because if you notice, I have tags on all entities. Rifts do not count as an entity. There's no data for it. So for stopgap, it could be instead of just becomes... It has a chance to spawn a specific room that is needed for the middle of the ritual that only comes from that type of rift. Oh, so you're saying more work then. You're saying that this spawns and it spawns like whatever the little block's going to be in the rift. And then from there you can do a ritual and set things up. Although that would also mean, you got to consider this. It may be in a really crappy place and you got to build a makeshift platform, right? And you're kind of terraforming a little bit. I kind of don't want you to destroy your world. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it looks like this was on a mountainside. Let me just put a thing here and then, you know, just leave a flat. And that way when someone else walks around the world, they're like, what the hell happened there? You know? Because I got to think of server owners too, right? Because the player doesn't give a shit. They're going to be like, yeah, you know what? I crapped in the bed. I just get to leave now. Let me go back home where everything's pretty and I can watch the sunset over not square floating platforms. Yeah, like a quick ritual. And then, but that's also adding extra steps, right? It's not something you do all the time. You know, like for the rituals, at least you have the choice when you initiate these. This is going to be like a forced choice. I don't think I like that. Because again, right? I'm giving you extra steps for what purpose? And then when you do that ritual, you would be converting that. You know, it feels. I don't know. I mean, does it feel like more? We got some people watching here. I mean, what do we think of how this conversation's going? Yeah, chance to spawn. Yeah, I mean, basically, I could make it like a rift core, like a physical God-fearing core. You know, like, but it's gonna look like, I mean, not like an obelisk here. Like the ancient obelisk, honestly, what I would do is it would kind of look like an obelisk here, and then I would cut it, right, and make it look like it's floating, is what I would do. So it would be like a modified version of this, but I would kind of, the vent wouldn't be there. I would cut it down, and then I would have it to where, like, whatever the rune is would be, like, plastered on it, right? It would have, like, the attuned rune on it. But you would see the same thing, right? You would hover over it, and you would know it's something that you could meditate on, because it would say researchable. So this would be one that you haven't discovered. Some sort of unusual abnormality. Well, I don't want to make it a black hole because that's what my devouring void is resembling. It's a red black hole, pretty much. I get what you mean, though, Gravcat. I get what you mean. Hey, Lunatic, how's it going? We're trying to figure out ancient obelisks right now. Still trying to grasp it all, I think. So these ancient obelisks spawn out of the world randomly. You get to chase portals and such. Yeah. Am I chasing for them? MP. Am I bringing reagents? Am I gonna catch them all? 32 types. So I mean, so I think this is where we've landed so far. Is that it would be kind of like a Pokemon gotta catch them all thing. It would be a rare chance. For, like, when a rift randomly opens up, there would be a chance that with that rift, that one-time chance, an ancient obelisk can also spawn, right? So you got your ancient obelisk that spawned. and then it would be a random one out of the 32, let's say, and you stumble upon it, right? And you're like, oh, cool, look at this. Now, you could either, if it's something that you can meditate with, right, you would, of course, depending on the rift weather and stuff, it may be more dangerous, right? Monsters could spawn from it, because remember, you're going to have to sit and then go into a meditative state and then stare at this block for however many seconds it takes to trigger. And then what you would be getting from this, Juno, is you would be getting more maximum mana, right? Like this would be increasing your maximum mana by, I don't know, 5 points a hit or whatever, 10 points, 10 mana points, like whatever the hit is. But if that portal disappears, so does the ancient obelisk. It shatters and it goes away too. Now maybe, and the thing is, like, if you with the offside, right, one of the rifts spawns and it's an ancient obelisk for like this rune, right, or whatever the type is, and you look at it and it's like, oh, it's not researchable, I discovered this one already. And maybe I'll put like ancient obelisk of, and I'll put like a keyword in there, right, or something, right, so you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember getting that. Or however I track it, right, whatever way I track it. Now maybe I could have it to where you could break this, right, and then it would be like a loot chest at that point. And maybe with that, you would get some, maybe a couple crystal fragments, maybe some arcanus, who knows, maybe a runic scroll of a certain type, maybe a batch of rusty dust, you know what I mean? A chance of getting a where it is, here it is, a crystallized memory that you could use to just gain 5% magic experience. So I'm not sure what the loot tables would look like, but you would have another option. Stream's really dying for you. Hope it's not me. I do not have any notifications. I'm not dropping frames or anything, it looks like. Lunatic! I like this idea, right? I definitely like the idea. I may be able to tap into the rift that spawns to, like, increase its power as well. Right? So maybe it could be like a bigger rift. Or, I don't know, something. Maybe something. I do like this. I think that does solve... It's a nice mix of like world gen and not world gen, Now there is a rare chance that if a rift spawned in the world, let's say someone had my magic mod. Stream is struggling. Oh no. Weird. I think it's just Twitch being Twitch. Yeah, Twitch being Twitch. Yeah. We're on the same page, Gravity Cat. Yeah. So this is my thought. This is the only problem I can see people running into, which, I mean, honestly, isn't a major problem. You install my mod, you've been using magic, and then you're like, you know what? We don't want magic. Screw this guy, right? We don't want magic. It's terrible. No one likes it. It needs to go away. You pull out my mod, but you didn't realize that a rift was open at the time, and my obelisk had spawned. So when you go back into the world, you may see a random floating block, like an ancient obelisk, that doesn't exist anymore, which you would have to, like, hit to remove. Now, these rifts can spawn underground, too, so you may be going through a cave, and all of a sudden you see a question mark block that is just kind of sitting in the cave, kind of maybe hovering in the air. Right? So, yeah, keep that in mind, too. That would be the only issues that I could see. But, I mean, those are minor, Forget those guys. You took my mod out anyways. You get no tech support. That's minor, right? You just break the block, it disappears forever, and you're good to go. On the flip side, that's also a problem, because if you don't destroy the block and you put the mod back in, right? It would have cleared its block entity information, and it would just be a standard block. So it would have the right texture, but it would be a broken version of it, something that you probably can't meditate on, or maybe you could meditate on, but maybe it doesn't disappear. So, but I think those are like outlying things. You shouldn't be adding and removing mods back and forth, right? Yeah, minor issue. That's what I think as well. Yeah, I would say that's not a huge problem. Kinda, except for mod users, something that's minimal. Yeah, I could just try and minimize things, but yeah, that's a minor issue. 1 or 2 blocks somewhere random. It's such a random chance. Yeah. Would that be the case with unstable rift blooms too, though? Yeah. You know, you're actually right, you know. If an unstable rift bloom is out, then yeah, it would be a similar thing. It would, yeah. Those unstable rift blooms would be out. But then again, I mean, it would be the same thing as like if you had magic runes down, right? Those would be question mark blocks too that you'd have to remove. And then coming back, they would turn back into their runes, you know, if you didn't break them. But any kind of block entity information would have been removed. So something like this, if you took it out and then you had a bunch of items in there, those items are gone. Because that's not a block entity anymore, and that's where the inventory is held. So yeah, just thoughts, right? I think we're onto something. I think we can all agree that I should be tapping into the Rift system, and maybe at the time of spawning, it does one call. Although, oh, this is a thing. Do rifts spawn? I gotta test this theory out. I don't know if they spawn directly in the center using the block grid, right? The block mesh, or if they spawn at random, because if that's the case, then you may get something where like there's a rift and then like in the corner is the block, but the rift is like off to the side. Because to place a block on the grid, it's going to have to take that decimal point and like convert it to a block position to place the block. Let's go into a real world and explore a little bit. We'll go back into this test world. Yeah, it's a problem with all mods. Yeah, so it's basically not. Yeah, that's true. Whoop. All right, I'm gonna just pop into game mode 1. It's kind of skip time a little. You know what? Game mode 2. Do I hear a rift? No. No, I think it was my music. Okay. Let's like skip a bunch of time. Ooh, there we go. We're in June. Of course, it's gonna rain. Hey, one of my elemental creatures. They would aggro me. Whoops. All right, well, I guess I fell. So let's kind of explore here. I think that's a wind elemental? No, yeah. Oh, shit. I just wanted to see you, son. Oh, I hear one. I think I hear one. No, my temporal stability's low. This is an area of low temporal stability. Shoot. You know what? That actually helps me. Right? Do rifts have more of a chance of spawning around you when your stability's lower? I just need to find a random rift that naturally spawns, put some blocks around it, and see if it's still, you know, if it's like aligned correctly on the grid or not. That's all I need to do. I'm hoping it uses the mesh grid, but I also think that it doesn't. Let's keep running. I skip a little more time. GM... No, let's do /time set 1000. Can I do time set day? Yay. Oh, cool. Oh, it's snowing. I hate this so much. Get my damn hand out of my face. Oh my god, it irks me that the game does that. Like, can I have like the third person mode without that kind of bullcrap? Can my hands please be down? Can I play the game? And not like, oh god. Such a stupid thing. Oh. You know what? Uninstall. That's it. I'm deleting the mod. We're done. Oh god, I hate it. Come on, man. I just want a damn rift. That's all I want. There, we'll make it March. The world's freaking out. I don't understand what you want from me. April. There we go. It's freaking April. I shouldn't be freezing. Ah, here we go. Yes, that's what I wanted. That's a little off. So the center is right here. So it's not pinpoint in the middle. And it's down a little bit. So I guess that, although it is close, pull out my admin block. Let's cure ourselves of everything, including frostbite. Is there another rift around here, please? Nothing. What if we skip to another day? Look at all that stuff go. Standalone Vice mod. No hand in your face. It's like, come on, man. We're already monster beasts, right? Like, just give me an option to, like, disable that. You know, have it animate for, like, everyone else who's looking at me. But don't obstruct my view of the game when I'm trying to play. There we go. It's like, come on, do you? It's like, why do you hate me so much? Hey, look at that. Yeah, see, this one's off by quite a bit. So it's like, you could end up with, like, the obelisk being here, right? So, like, this could be your obelisk. I don't know. I mean, I think it's a problem that we're gonna have to deal with. Unless I make another kind of rift. See, this is the other part. You're gonna have, like, my creatures and stuff spawning from these rifts. Yeah. That is so cool that it does that. I love that. One of the best things I've done in this mod. Could the thing it spawned be an entity instead of a spawn at the rift coordinates? It could be an entity. I mean, I guess you make a good point. I could have it be an entity. Because then I could tie it right to the position. I could negate gravity on the entity. Well, see, the thing is, okay, so yeah, you're talking about a special rift, spawning a special rift. I would have to recreate like the rift system and then redo the shaders, and it's a lot of work for one particular thing. Hey, a wind sentry. These things are assholes. Yeah, it shoots wind blasts at you. Man. Oh. There we go. Yeah, you chill, buddy. Yeah, I just don't. I want to make, see, and that's part of it too. I want to make elemental rifts because I think that would be a cool thing. And the idea is, so I had an idea of like the Thaumcraft taint, right? So I can either go the taint route where like the rust can like creep into the world and like affect blocks and stuff, temporarily, of course, right? Or I could have it to where like it's that old game Rift. I don't know if anyone's played that old MMO, but I love the idea of like a fire rift opens up. And then the fire rift has been open for so long, and then it starts affecting the blocks around it, right? So maybe it would turn into like fire grass, I would call it, right? Which would be basically like charred cinder, you know, temporarily, and like it would affect everything around it. And then like fire elementals would be prone to like come out of it. Like, I would love to do that. And then that's actually why I put in the spell, Cleansing Light. Because I wanted you to have a way to shut off these spells too, these rifts, right? So I can cast this spell. Boom! And I can, like, eradicate rifts around me. Right, so I wanted to give you like those tools preemptively because like the idea is there, but I mean I'm pushing alpha back is what it comes down to. If I go that route, like alpha, you're not getting it this week. if I have to rewrite and make my own rift system, it's like rewriting like the weather system. It's really complex. Really complex, right? Because then there's like rift weather. There are the rifts themselves. There's the spawning of the rifts, which is its whole own system as well. Having all the timers and everything, because you have to create like an index list of all of your rifts, right? Because you can't use the base game stuff because technically it's a different thing. All right, so it's like it's gonna take considerable work. I think we nailed it though with having it be an entity. Because what's to say, like, I can make it an entity, give it no AI tasks or anything at all. It could just be kind of brain dead. And it could exist as long as that rift is close by. Like, if it detects a rift, like, I could do, like, life update checks every 4 to 6 seconds, right? Is the rift still around? It is, I can stay, right? Is the rift still around? And it can just keep doing that. Until it detects that the rift is gone, in which case I can shatter it, kill the entity, take it away completely. That'd be really cool. Keep having this idea of sort of an invasion that could be found later. Well, that would be what I would want to work towards. Like, I think it'd be cool if like they kind of made a foothold, right? And then kind of like built it would turn into like a spawner for the stuff, kind of like Locust, right? How you have like the spawner, but and then you would have to like fight your way through and try and like destroy everything and break those spawners and then shut down the rift, and then through that event I would want to give you loot. And then that's why I also put the AI in here for opposing elements hating each other and fighting each other, because I think it would be cool to walk around and you see that a water rift and a fire rift had spawned, and then they're at war with each other, trying to break each other's, trying to destroy each other's rifts. I think it would be cool. But I mean, that's something, we're talking about something different now. Look at all those entities down there. I have no idea. Oh, that could be a locust swarm, maybe. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Oh, and they're all despawning anyways. Gravity Cat, hey, thanks for the sub. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's go into the creative world. I think we got it. I just need to start designing things now. We're gonna have to make an entity. I'm gonna have to make a shape renderer for it. We are gonna have to, in that shape renderer, I'm gonna have to create shaders for it. We're gonna have to be, I'm gonna have to make a model for it, which the model's gonna be the obelisk, just kind of different. We're gonna have to make 32 different variants of this. I'm going to have to create an inventory. Actually, maybe not. Should they be floating? Hey, should it be like a chess? Should it be like a magic chess or something that floats? I don't know, because now I'm thinking, how else could I use this? I could use the same kind of entity for the spell Void Vault. But I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. Ads driving me nuts. Have some copy money, thank you. Yeah, those ads are aggressive. I don't know, like, and I tried to go in and like change the slider to like do as little ads as I could, and then a big warning pops up like changing the slider could result in more ads, and it's like, so I gotta preload stuff, and it's like all this stuff. It's like, can I just live stream? Can I opt out, please? Like, I get it, like, sure, I guess it generates revenue, but you could keep your 9/10 of a cent, for like a whole stream for ads, right? Whatever pittance we get, you could keep that fractional cent. I will donate it to your cause. I'm okay with not having it. All right, so I gotta create. So I guess we're on board, right? It's going to be an entity. It's going to be a bunch of types of entities. So for meditation insight, you'll be able to, oh shit. The biggest thing, it won't tap into meditation insight because it's not a block. The whole on being looked at, like, it's not going to be researchable. Yeah, the trigger can't see entities, only blocks, because it's not a trigger from the player. It's a trigger, it's a method in the block itself. It's on being looked at is what is tied into this. So what you see here is I have a block behavior on this obelisk that, when I'm looking at it, does a check and says, do you have this written tag? Like, has this been researched? Is it in the array list on your player? Since it's not in the list, I pop a researchable tag on it, and then when you sit down to meditate and look at it, it starts running through the block saying, yup, you can learn this. Let's wait 5 seconds. Let me start spawning the particles around, and then bam, send the packet, hit the player, add it to the array so they can't double learn it, give them their bonus NP, right? Do a save on their attributes, and then they can walk away. So that's, I guess we're back to it being a block. It's a block. Shoot. It's, you know what? It's okay. It makes it easier being a block anyways. You know, it's not the end of the world if it's a little off center. I could, you know, I could make it to where, like, maybe it doesn't spawn in the center. It will find a random place that's within range, because this will be like its own floating block anyways. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it could be. Could we have a rift core be something we could grab, capture almost, giving the player a core item they can plop down and ponder? I mean, that's adding. What else would that core be used for, though? Right? Like, that's I've been trying to pull back items that would have like a one-time use hop. You know what I mean? It's like shifting fibers, right? If that was only useful to make, like your magic chalk or whatever, then that's kind of like a dead end item, or an item where it's like, oh, it's this, and then you create this other third item or this middle item, and then that item only creates the final item. It's like, why not just go like that instead of bounce? You know what I mean? That other item is like a dead item that has one specific purpose, created one specific way, you know? Yeah, give it some more use. Like, I mean, I don't mind having like a Rift Core item, but what is that in Magic, right? Like, what is that going to be in Magic? I mean, you could have it be like the final step in like creating a grimoire, but that's putting a pretty big limitation on. I don't know. I mean, maybe. But then what's to say that my ancient obelisk, maybe that's the rub too, is like you can research it, or when you break it, you get like a magic core, right? Or something, and then that could be a reagent for making spells. You know, like making grimoires. It could be a cool light source. Pigeon their elemental type, fireflies in a jar. I mean, but then again, I'm making a third type of torch, right? I have mana torches and I have mana lanterns. So I would be making another floating mana color. With overlap, right? Because arcane, right? Because if you're talking about having like an elemental type, arcane's already purple, which is what the mana torch, or the dark mana torch is. The neutral mana torch is blue, so that's probably right in the middle of that's probably water. Water or frost. Maybe frost would be lighter. And then white would be wind. You know, which is the light mana torch. Could also be crafting reagent for something higher tier, a staff core. I do have 3 kinds of staffs, so that brings in the question. It's same thing with the grimoires, right? I have tiers 1, 2, and 3. Even armor, you could throw armor in that too. I have tiers 1, 2, and 3 armor that's planned as well. So do you need to get these? So this can't be a rare drop or rare spawn at all now, because in order for you to even cast spells, you need to have this core. Right? I like the idea, but then it's like, well, what makes a tier 3 core drop? Is that even more rare? And then what happens if you're unlucky and you don't have, I think we're taking the idea of like what it was originally, like a little loot box that floats that you could meditate on, to like the main goal is to unlock more maximum mana through meditation insight. So like these are going to be low hits, like 1 mana point each, just kind of, Also, I have to think of another thing, Gravity Cat. I have to find a way to track all of this stuff. How are you going to know what you still need and what you don't need, right? What are you looking for? I don't have a lot of space in here for all of that. The way the grid is, let's hop out. Let me go into like the other world where I have like everything unlocked, which is this one. floaty bit in the end of the staff being the Rift core. But I already have Arcanus as your core. Like that's what's in the so like this staff here, you see that green? That's because this is the Magicians. So that the green probably better if I hang it. Good ideas, mind you. But I've done this. Can I? No. Damn it. Kind of, okay, here we go. Here's like a wall, let's say. So that right there, the Magicians, right? It's got that gem in it. This one is the Spellweavers, so it's got the blue gem, even though, like, this is a bad example because it's a blue staff, but Spellweavers is the blue because that's that Arcanus, and then, of course, you got purple, right, for the Archmage. So I kind of have that already. And it's more sustainable, the way I have it, because you make this stuff on demand. I don't want it to be random chance that you run into the ability to make a staff to do your spell casting, right? Because then I'm putting a severe limitation on your magic. Especially since, you know, the cost of, like, I don't know, just casting spells, right? Like, people have already complained that there's not enough durability on staves. It's like, well, you know, this thing has like 1,500 durability. What do you mean there's not enough durability? There's too much durability. You can cast 1,500 spells before that staff breaks. It's too much. You know what I mean? It's too much. I was actually going to limit those because I want to make it to where the resources are a little easier to get. You could do it more on demand. So I can lower the durability of these things. Yeah, I run a little too far with it. Yeah, the Rift Staffs would be a lot harder to sustain without constantly just running around. The other part of this, Gravity Cat, is that, remember, in a lot of worlds, people disable Rifts, and they disable Temporal Stability and Temporal Storms. So, automatically, people are going to be handicapped, right? In the same way that they're handicapped with Rift Blooms. So, I mean, the fact that that's how Rift Blooms are, right? You have to have Rifts to get Rift Blooms, which is like the staple of magic. You know, that's just another thing to consider, too. If you disable magic, no. You cannot naturally, you could admin yourself the stuff in. So if someone really wanted to disable it, they would have to have like an economy or some kind of like infinite admin shop or something that would give you, that would supply you with your Rusty Dust, because that's Rusty Dust and Shifting Fibers are like the foundation for pretty much everything. I think my elemental creatures still spawn, so you could still get your crystals. But, and I did that intentionally, you know, like, it's the premise of Magic is using the Rust world. You know, it reminds me of, like, back in Minecraft when I did my airship mod, and people were like, I want to fly. It's like, oh, why am I getting kicked out of the server because it's saying I'm flying? It's like, because you have flight disabled globally in your server. That's why. So if you want to fly, enable it in your world. Well, I don't want everyone to fly, only in your machines. It's like, are you putting them in creative mode? No. Then they can't fly. You know what I mean? It's that whole thing, you know? It's like, you want Rust magic? Then have rifts and stuff in your world. That's the best way to do it. Oh, what happened here? Oh dear, dead. All right, should we revive it or blow it up? Should this thing have a second chance in life? Or should it return to the earth? Corpse explosion! Or revive. Which one? I think the right reason why people complained about staff durability was you needed to cast so many spells in order to level up mana. So suddenly, like 500 durability becomes 2 mana levels. That's true. That's true. I could see that. I could see that. That is incredibly fair. The new system, though, having that trifecta to increase your maximum, and removing, you know, like you'll notice there's no number here. There's no more magic tiers. So really, it's just your maximum mana is the thing that holds you back, and then the items that you can acquire, right? Corpse explosion? Is that what we're doing? Where was that body? There it is. Corpse explosion? Goodbye. There's bits of deer everywhere. Smells like barbecue. All right, well, it's gone. Yeah, it was a cast fest before. You're not really gonna have that. Best way to clear out chicken pen. Yeah, considering how if one of the chickens dies and you have a bunch around you and you do corpse explosion, it's guaranteed killing every other chicken around. It's got quite the range too. You could also kill yourself with it, so you really got to be careful. You really have to be careful. Yeah. So I think what I need to do is we need to create a new block. It's going to be an ancient obelisk block. Let's do this. I have a little time. I have a little time to do this. We'll rough draft it in. Ooh, where am I going to put this? It's not technically a magic station. You know what? It will be a magic station. I will copy the obelisk. I'll say ancient obelisk. Maybe it shouldn't have the name obelisk. I'm thinking about some of the calls that I do. Let me put on another song. Yeah, some of the ways that I do checks, I do searches for obelisks, so ancient obelisk would also get flagged. You know what? Whenever I need ideas for names, I hop over to ChatGPT. I need more names for a magical obelisk. Help. Oh, wait, no, stop. List names for an obelisk. That's all I want. I'll put ancient on it. Don't say, oh my god, obelisk of shifting stars, pillars of radiance, obelisk of eternal night. I said more names for an obelisk, you dumb monolith. Monolith, huh? What are we thinking? Monolith. I don't know. Calling it a pillar, I don't want to call it a pillar. Obelisk of Celestial Nexus. Jesus Christ. The obelisk of eternal night. All right, Shakespeare, I wanted one word. Synonyms for single words, synonyms for obelisk. A spire, pillar, monolith, tower, column, spire stone, a spire. A beacon, a menhir. What the hell is a menhir? A stele, a totem. I don't know. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? More? More. A rustolith. I don't think I don't know if I'm gonna have rust in there. An ancient rustolith. A pylon. An apex. A zenith stone. Zenith. Sentinel. Needle. Pinnacle. You know what? More. A fang. Stupid. A minaret. Fuck is a minaret? Do I just not know English? More. A spindle. A bastion. An obex. A shaft. It's a shaft. An ancient shaft. Phallic shaped. Yeah, that's great. That's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you. A shaft. Steeple. The more I'm asking, the more I'm hating, like, everything it's saying. I mean, a spire, an ancient spire. I kind of like that. Well, let me start just like maybe writing down the ones that I like. Like, a spire's pretty good. And here we have the ancient rustolith, and it's just a piece of rebar sticking out of the ground, right? It's rusty. I mean, I do like, the more I'm saying it, ancient spire. It's got a nice ring to it. All right, what else? I guess I could do an ancient pillar. Ancient monolith. I could do an ancient monolith. Ancient, maybe an ancient pylon. Monolithian. All right. Out of these, we got 4 choices. Ancient spire, ancient pillar, ancient monolith, ancient pylon. Which one? Which one should we go with? It's gonna be one of these. One of these are gonna be what spawns with a rift. If I had to rate them, this would be number 4. That's last. The ancient pillar, I don't know. Pillar itself, I do have pillar blocks that I have disabled right now that I was kind of working on for funsies. So it would be kind of weird being like enchanted pillar, netherite pillar, right? Zeganite pillar. And then you have an ancient pillar. It's like, but it looks different and it's something different. I like monolith, pylon, or spire. If I also had to pick, pylon would be number 3. I think it's a step up from pillar, but I don't know. Pylon, like, it kind of reminds me of Dune or, you know, like Stargate, and that's not really like what I'm going for, right? Because I've noticed there are times when I'll use a word like that and people are like, "Oh, you're a fan, huh?" It's like, no, sorry. I'm not a fan. I know the premise, but yeah, something a bit floaty. Spire, if it's connected to the ground. What about monolith then? Is a monolith, should that be connected to the ground? Because technically these would be flying. Is a pylon you know what? I guess I don't really understand what a pylon really is. Give me a definition. A tower used for carrying power lines high above the ground. That's a pylon. Oh, it's like a phone pole, right? It's basically a phone pole. So pylon is number 3. All right, give me the definition. Spire. A tapering conical or pure metal structure on the top of a building typically a church tower. Ah, so a pylon is the part that's like just sitting on top, right? The spire. That would be a spire. A long tapering object. This isn't really gonna be a long and tapering object. I want it to be like a block, like maybe a block and a half, kind of a little shorter, or maybe around the same size as an obelisk. What about a monolith? All right. A large single upright block or stone, especially one shaped into or serving as a pillar or monument. You know what? It's going to be a monument. It's going to be a monolith. Ancient monolith. It seems like it fits. It just fits, right? Boop. Magic Station Ancient Monolith. In here, I can put the different types. I can put a bunch of random names like Knight, you know, like whatever the 32 plus different versions of this will be. I don't technically have to have a side, but I will keep this orientation in case I do want to have like a front facing or different things on different sides and then it positions differently. I will keep container stuff on there as well. I may make it animatable. I'm not sure. Each thing that I enable, it just adds more time to the creation of it. So I don't know. All right, anything that is obelisk. Let's do a replace here. We're going to save that. Instead of ancient obelisk, it's going to be an ancient monolith. Let me pick a song here. There we go. Maybe I could make an admin version that just unlocks it all for you. All at once. All right, I gotta create some blocks here. I gotta create a block and a block entity class for it. I think the closest... I'm gonna start off really... Ah, man, what do I want to do? You know, I will copy Zeganite. We're going to pop this in here, and I'm going to call this Ancient Monolith. Because technically it will be a station. This is going to be almost like a brain dead station here. No. Bernardo, 2-hour stream, you know it, buddy. But the fact that it is a 2-hour stream and it's almost lunchtime means that I don't have much time left. I have maybe 30 minutes max left. You know what? Let me just take a little look here. Anyone back? Nope. 30 minutes or less. It's like delivering a pizza, Bernardo. We guarantee it 30 minutes or less. So mean. All right. I think I will copy elemental crystals. So we have I already have the rust conversion in elemental crystals here. So this will be what I take from Ancient Monolith. And we will change this, and this. All right, we'll go back into here, scroll to the top. We'll put Ancient Monolith into both of these so it pulls from that. We're going to save. Now I have to register these this new block and block entity. So let's go down into the block section. Copy, paste, copy, paste, and paste. All right, for the block entities, copy, paste, and paste. Wait a minute, do these even need to have a block entity? Yeah, they do. Shit. Yes, they do. So this worries me. Block entity station. Where's my block entities? Block behavior, entity. There we go, block entities. Block entity station, Ancient Monolith. Which means I have to change all of this. Block entity station. Here we go. Save. Let's go back into here. There we go. All right. Hey, look at that. It's good to go. Exactly, Moosey. Wow, that's a lot. You gonna ask about your staff, Bernardo? Present it. All right, it built okay. Let's hop in the world. It's going to error out because I don't have a model for it yet. You know what? I already know it's going to error out. Let's go ahead and create, at least attach all the dots here for the shape. So we go into shapes, blocks, stations. I will use what? Could use a prism of duplication. Oh, looks like everyone's back. Good timing, huh? 30 minutes or less. I don't know, I'll just copy this. Elemental altar. I have to redesign the whole thing anyways. This is an Ancient Monolith. Monolith. There we go. So it's still going to be upset because I don't have the textures mapped out, but that's fine. We'll just scoot past it. I just want to make sure that this block is like registered. I could place it down. It's a block entity. Although when I did place it down, right, because it's technically part Rift plant and then part oh, look at this. Block station Ancient Monolith. That does not exist. Oh, I forgot to do this as block station. Oh, man. Registered it wrong. Block station. Save. You know what? Just stop. Just stop what you're doing. Thank you. Block station. There we go. That should be keyed correctly. Creepy Adventurelands. It is like, it is so upset with my texture mapping. How dare you, sir? Hopefully it doesn't take too long to load. It's a oh, it's not a single block. It's technically 3. So it's going to take even longer because it's got to fail on the mappings for all 3 of them. Still going. Wow. Still going. Oh, it's technically not 3. It's there are 3 options and then there are 4 options. So yeah, 3 times 4. All right, blocks, crystallized memories. So where would it have thrown it? What am I? Oh, there it is. That must be it. Yep, ancient monolith. So we got the knight and we got the normal. So that would technically be the ancient monolith. That would have a chance to spawn. Oh, and it despawns! It already inherited that code. It can only stay alive with a rift around. That's great. Is that one gonna despawn? It rolls randoms. See, so that would despawn, so then this will eventually... I had it do like a random chance if it doesn't see anything nearby. That way it felt staggered when plants were like converting back. It wasn't just all whoosh once, you know? So why don't we do a test? Let's pull up my admin tool. I don't know how much further I can go doing this. So basically, I want to be able to open up a rift and then have a chance of the blocks spawning in the area, right? In the area. Because if I put this down, like here, it should stay alive while that rift is going. Oh, the rift is receding. There we go. Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, see, it's staying alive. Although the rift will slowly, because it's calm. Yep, very calm. Oh, no. Current rift activity is high. Oh, it's because, is it? I don't know why these are not staying out longer then. Maybe my timing's off on my admin tool. But yeah, the keep alive. So I guess this is the first question making these. Should this be like anywhere in the air, or should I like put it on top of whatever the topmost block is? Like, should it be ground based, or should it be floating, like in this general area somewhere? While we think about that, because I may not get a response for that, let's go down to my Rift system here. Because I think all I have to do is tap into this. On client tick Rift Bloom. On client tick Rift Bloom. On client tick Elemental Crystal. Not really seeing. So I'm sending packets. I think I know how I did this. I don't have anything on the server side. I'm doing everything through client only ticking. And if that is the case, really in here, all I would have to do, it would actually be in here on start. I could roll a random number and I can say, like, if it's, you know, a 10% chance or whatever it turns out being. I gotta think this through. Armor references dot. No. I want my helpers. Let's do RM helpers. See, I have packets that specifically change a block to a flower, block to an unstable block. Old block domain, the block item. Maybe I could make use of this. And you know what? We're going to put some particles with this as well. Why not? I'm going to put this on the client side since I'm going to be sending things through packets anyways. Let me say this dot. Ooh. Okay, I know how to do this, and this is not the right way. I thought it out, finally thought it out. So I'm gonna have to create probably just another ticker here. So let's say private void on client tick spawn ancient monolith. I'm going to paste those things temporarily in. Let's set up the tick listener. Let's make it 1 second with a delay of 6 seconds. No, 5 seconds. We'll do a 5-second delay to start. Spawn ancient monolith. All right, so we will spawn this. And then I have to... Ooh, how am I gonna do this? Let's get rid of those. Given method after given interval until unregistered. Oh, so this is just upset because I'm putting it in while the game's running. You know what? Fair enough. Let me leave the game. There we go. So sorry. So sorry that I ruffled your feathers. Although it's still upset. So did I do the method wrong? I could have. Oh, I forgot to put in float DT. There we go. Or DT. There we go. That should be happy. So basically what I'm doing is I'm looking to see like all the rifts in the area that have spawned. And then I'm getting the nearest rifts. So rift system, nearest rift's length. And then I'm creating a list here. And then I'm getting the size of the rift for the effect range. And then within that range, each tick, I am looking to see if there's a block that can be changed over, and then I'm changing the block. depending on what it is, with a chance of changing it. Unfortunately, I need to like append, I think, or let me look to see what I can even change in the rifts themselves. So let's go into the rift system. See, rift by ID. Okay. Position, size, rift ID, spawned, total hours, die at, visible, has line of sight, volume multiplier, accumulator, get the size, on nearest tick, set from. So there's not a lot in here. Because, like, I think what I would need to do is put a tag on this, right? Ah, man. I don't know. This system's not really good to, like, I could either make it to where it automatically spawns with every rift, which, I mean, it's kind of dumb, right? Because it calls each tick. Ugh. This is rough. I mean, all right. So let me look to see what else I can look at. Let's look at rift system dot nearest rift 1 position. All right, let me hop that in. So what can I access here? Size, volume, spawn total hours, on near tick, accumulator, die at total hours, has line of sight, position, rift ID. See, there's not a lot going on here. Like, I could set it to where, like, maybe the size would be bigger. So I could have, like, size equals size modifier plus, I don't know. We'll do 10. I just want to see if I can modify a rift that has already been created by changing the size. Because I know I can do it, like, if I were to spawn a rift through the admin tool or through a ritual, because I'm doing a direct, like, spawning call, so I'm already putting that stuff in. So this should make all the rifts that spawn big. Because maybe I can have it to where, like, a rift opens up, and then there's a really, 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 really low chance that this thing will, like, tick, and then expand to become a bigger rift, which would have the item, like, spawn in there. Like, maybe I could do it that way. Because I need a way to, like, differentiate between the different rifts. And I think even during temporal storms, the rift size doesn't really get big. I think 3 is, like, the rift size. Maybe 3 to 5 are, like, the standard rift sizes the game uses. Moozy! Timing, Moozy, timing! Oh, that's right. All the blocks that I have in here. Oh. Maybe, there we go. I was gonna say, maybe it would have been better to, like, not have this here. You know, to have this block in yet. Alright. So it does affect all rifts then. That's a rift of 20. It's constantly resetting itself. I have a couple minutes on rating sound. Okay. Oh, each tick, it's making the rift grow by 20. It's like a rift bomb right now. Let me stop it. And then the rift goes back. So it looks like it's statically set at a certain point. The rift keeps resetting itself. Alright, I need to find someone to raid. I just typed in raid. Let's go to Vintage Story. Who do we got? We got some people. We got old Wasteland Puppy, Team GPT, and Eye Candy Swish. You know what? Wasteland Puppy. The dude also has a beard. Beards gotta stick together. Alright, exclamation raid, slash raid. Wasteland Puppy TV. Alright, everyone, thank you so much for watching. We're getting there, you know, like I think for Meditation Insight, I will work on like putting the blocks that you could research in. I'll get a mana cost there. And then this may have to be something that comes after the alpha, because after I do that, I need to still work on the guides and the guidebooks. So yeah, we're getting there. Then the alpha should be ready, but I would like to sneak this in. And I think we can. All right, everyone, thank you so much. I will talk to you all later, and have a great rest of your day. If you want to keep talking about this, start talking to Discord. I'll have my phone on me, and you know, we'll be able to chat about this. You know, really flesh out some of these ideas. And if anyone has any other ideas for like a cool magic system, pitch them. Right? Obviously, I can't make, you know, a high-def rainbow unicorn that vomits acid rainbows or anything crazy like that. But, you know, there may be some good parts here, right? That we can form into something that'll be fun to interact with. All right, thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye.